I want to talk about Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, a lot of people know him now for being a promoter, and I know he's had a lot of issues in his personal life, but people don't remember the fighter so well. So was Oscar De La Hoya overrated or underrated or rated properly? In my opinion, I think Oscar De La Hoya has become extremely underrated. I think Oscar De La Hoya was a world champion, WBO at 130. Okay, whatever. That wasn't a big deal in those days, the WBO. Fine. He was the guy. And I'm not talking about holding a belt. He was the man at 135, at 140, at 147, and at 154. At 4 weight classes, he was the guy. That's extremely impressive in boxing. The only guys you could say that have done that are guys like, in the 8 belt era. I know they had less weight classes back then, so we'll just say from like 1980 and on. Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, and Manny Pacquiao. And Roy Jones, maybe? Not even Roy Jones. I don't even think you could say Roy Jones. That's extremely impressive. This man fought the best opposition of any fighter in the last 50 years, in my opinion. Julio Cesar Chavez. I know that was an older Chavez, but still, that was not a shot Chavez. Whitaker. I know that was an older Pernell Whitaker. Still a very good Whitaker. Floyd Mayweather. Manny Pacquiao. Bernard Hopkins, he went up to middleweight to fight arguably the greatest middleweight of all time, Bernard Hopkins. I know he lost, but still. And then he's got a lot of really, Shane Mosley, Felix Trinidad, Fernando Vargas. He got so many guys. People don't even bring up like a lot of his lesser guys like Jesse James Leija, Rafael Ruelas, Gennaro Hernandez, Arturo Gatti. He has so many of those kind of guys that people don't even bring up. Ike Corte. He has so many of those kind of fights. People don't even bring them up. And he came out on top in most of them. A lot of people only remember him for the way his career ended with Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather beating him, and Manny Pacquiao destroying him at the end of his career, and even the Hopkins fight before that. But the man was a beast. He was an animal. He was a terrific fighter. And to me, he really, in my unofficial scorecard, I thought he lost to Pernell Whitaker, to be honest with you. But it was really tight. You could have had it either way. But I thought he really beat Felix Trinidad. Now, he didn't make matters easier because he danced around the ring the last 3 rounds and gave the last 3 rounds away. But to me, he won 8 of the first 9 rounds. So he beat Felix Trinidad in my eyes. And to me, if he would have won that fight versus Tito Trinidad, his career resume looks a lot differently. And Tito's looks a lot differently also for losing. I thought he lost to Shane Mosley the first time. But the second time, he really beat Shane Mosley, in my opinion, pretty clearly. So if you get those 2 wins versus those 2 Hall of Famers, Trinidad and Mosley, along with, Chavez twice stopping Chavez, guys like Corte, who he beat, stopping Fernando Vargas, Ruelas, Gotti, the list goes on and on and on. It's a pretty ridiculous resume. And I know people say, oh, well, he didn't have so much longevity. When you fight everybody like that, your longevity is going to be less because you're fighting all the top guys. Instead of, wait at one fight, then wait another one, then preserve your career. So I don't penalize Oscar for having a lack of longevity so much. I think Oscar De La Hoya is one of the greatest champions of all time, and he doesn't get the proper respect he deserves because he's kind of a weird guy. And I know he got into some, personal problems after his career ended. And I know as a promoter, some people may not like him, but the man was a beast, and he should be celebrated as one of the greatest champions in the history of boxing because that's what he was. Great fights he gave the fans, exciting fights, and, the guy has an unbelievable resume. Seriously speaking, I think the only guys from 1993 to now, let's say from when his career started till now, that have better resumes than him are Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, and Manny Pacquiao. So, I mean, that's a pretty ridiculous resume by Oscar De La Hoya, and he should be respected for that. But let me know what you guys think. I think De La Hoya is underrated. I think he's one of the greatest champions of all time. Peace out.